Good afternoon, guys. It is April 13th, and I figured I'd make another video on some of the plants we can see now. This early bloom, starting with Purshia tridentata or Antelope Bitterbrush, which is not only in bloom right now, but it is getting well past bloom. See, its fruit already starting to develop. It's got very rosaceous flowers. Of course, it is a member of Rosaceae, and in particular the subfamily Drydoideae, which is an important component of Western North America's flora and an element that likely evolved here. But yeah, let's see whatever things we can find. I've seen quite a few things in bloom that are really early for the time of year. Now here we have a species of Astragalus, I think most likely Astragalus utahensis. They're at times a bit of a tough group to identify because there are so many species in the western United States. It is the most diverse genus here, and really the most diverse in the world apparently. We have 500 species in the western US, and I think close to 4,000 worldwide. Most of the rest of those being found in semi-arid and arid places in the Old World. And I think right behind that is perhaps Heterotheca villosa. Again, I'm positive it's Astragalus because I've seen some of these other specimens that have dead flower stalks from last year, but it's a little hard to tell still, but without the flowers especially. But, well, here, let's take a look over here. That's what I'm talking about. Very clearly indicative of Asteraceae. Evidence of a past capitulum. These are likely the previous year's bracts. You can see it's a little hard to zoom in enough, but you can see where basically right there the tips are where all the floral parts have been attached previously. I'm currently in southeastern Salt Lake County on the foothills of Lone Peak. And that's interesting because the rock here, unlike where I normally film, Mount Olympus and beyond, is derived from volcanics like quartz monzonite in particular, as opposed to the metasedimentary quartzite you find around Mount Olympus. And I think it has some implications for what species grow here because, well, I believe volcanics often decay into a more acidic soil type, though then again quartzite might do that as well. So what food I know I'm talking about. I do think that's part of the reason why there's so much of the Purshia tridentata growing up here. But anyways, we also have this in some relative abundance. This is Rhus trilobata, or the Skunkbush Sumac. So that's Rhus aromatica. There might be a difference between those two, but I still haven't really figured it out. It doesn't help that flora of North America hasn't gotten Anacardiaceae done. But anyways, Anacardiaceae is a family with most of its diversity in Southeast Asia, and it's in sapindales, so it's kind of distantly related to maples, soapberry, ailanthus, and really a whole lot of other things. But Rhus is definitely a genus, I believe it's most diversity in North America. Not even Asia, I think, has that much of it, but I could be totally wrong there. Anyways, if you crush the leaves up of this plant, I think they smell quite nice in spite of the name. I'll just pull one. Almost a little bit like orange peely. A tiny bit. Maybe. Who knows? Now this is surprising to me. I was not expecting to see such a big patch, or really any patch, of Toxicodendron rydbergii out here. So known as Western poison ivy. Got the classic poison ivy leaves. Leaves are free, let it be, as they say. But anyways, I normally see this plant species growing in rather shaded, often disturbed sites. I mean, this is a bit of a disturbed one right on the side of a trail, but normally disturbed sites that are very shaded. So it's a bit surprising to see it growing here, and it seems to be very happy for its circumstances and the environment. It's just a really healthy, thick patch, so it's a bit of a learning experience for me. So I also got the classics, Artemisia tridentata, big sagebrush with its beautiful, pleasant smelling sagebrushy leaves. You got a bit of a forest over here. Looks like it might be a mix of some native and non-native species, so let's check that out. Now this looks like Populus angustifolia to me, which is the narrowleaf cottonwood. Typically one you see at higher elevations than the other common cottonwood region, Populus fremontii. So I guess it might be, with all the shrubs growing there too, it might be a bit of a little spring or seep that we have going on here. Oh wow, look at that. Quercus gambelii almost completely leafed out by now, even though it's not even halfway through April yet. I normally don't even see these things starting to leaf out until May. This one's just basically finished now. This is really such a strange year. And you know what? If it gets super dry and boring by midsummer, I'm really glad, because I'm hopefully going to be gone in Australia, which is, if you can believe it or not, always green where I'm going to be going to. At least where I hope I end up going to. And right here you do have Populus fremontii, just a little bit from the Populus angustifolia down there. Anyways, it's got the classic leaves of this species that are almost as wide or maybe even wider than they are long. And quite healthy too. Yeah, there's got to be a source of water for these plants because they are obviously riparian species. That's sort of a signature of the cottonwoods. Often many members of Populus, well, not all of them, but a lot of Populus species are like that. We got some, whatever the scientific name of Russian olive is. It's Elaeagnus angustifolia, or something like that. So it's definitely got to be a rather wet site here. Maybe some water just percolates and then emerges from the top of the mountain down here at some point. I wonder how long it takes for it to filter down from the mountain soils. I mean, this is all just a guess at what's going on here. Not a fan of this. Okay, this video is getting a little bit too long, so just to finish up, look at all this Phlox longifolia, or Longleaf Phlox. My favorite wildflowers. Look how cool it is. And there's so many of them right here. Pretty strong, tough plant that can compete amongst invasives very well, which I'm pretty sure most of this grass is. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you next time.